G'day, welcome back to the lab. Day 3, New Zealand coronavirus, COVID-19 lockdown. So, if you were on YouTube Facebook Live this morning, you would have seen the update. I was talking about that. You saw that on our YouTube video yesterday. I gave you some pointers on growing a stainless steel moustache. Gave you some pointers on how you can set up your tubing in this time where you can't get to people like me to get it welded up if you don't have a welder at home. So I'll quickly run through that, then I'll talk about what we're going to do today, and we'll carry on, because I'm sorry if you watched it on Facebook Live and you're seeing it again. I'm doing this for the guys that don't watch us on Facebook Live, or missed it, or don't want to watch it on there, or whatever. Anyway, so what you can do, you can get in there if you've got the pipes for a start, because you're not going to buy them anywhere if you don't, and you're not going to be able to order them in if you don't have them already. So cut the pipes to the ideal angle. Let's use the line that you can see in the frame in the background there, the window frame. You just use that as your idea, right? So you cut them so you've got the angle right this way, not like this, not like this. So you've got that angle right, correct. Then you can work out, we should be able to see that, sorry. What am I doing wrong here? I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm just getting all confused myself. Mark it with a vivid, right? So you can mark it with a vivid. So you get your angle here like this. So it's not like that, it's not like that, it's that, right. And then you get it right, so it's that way as well. What I was doing wrong was I was looking at the other side of this tube and I could see the line. I couldn't figure out why you couldn't see on the camera. It's because the camera's behind the tube. Very confusing for a man like me. Then you can do that. You can figure out your angle, you can get your pipes together, you get the rotation correct, and then how are you going to hold it together, because you can't weld it, right? Get some masking tape, clean everything up, put some masking tape around it. You will be blown away how strong that is as far as holding it. That's a big piece of stainless steel pipe. Going nowhere. I'm giving that quite a bit of heebie-jeebies. So you can actually string an amazing amount of that together, hold it all together with masking tape in the meantime. When we're done, when everyone's free and we can get out and about, we're still going to follow some safety protocols, because I don't want anyone bringing that crap into my property if we can avoid it. But then you can give us a call, get in touch, and we'll be able to weld it all up for you. Usually what I would do is I'll tack it in place. If there's any concerns, tack in place, you take it away, check that it still fits, and then we'll carry on, we'll weld the whole thing up. So we can do that for you later. We definitely can't do that right now. It'll be 6 weeks or more, and we'll be able to get on with that. So that's one thing we can carry on with. I'll swap the camera over and I'll show you what we're going to do with the Gloria today. So I said the Supercharger was on for the last time some time ago, and then I decided it was best to take the top of it off so we could weld these fittings on for the intercooler, so we could go AN fittings the whole way through instead of rubber hoses and everything and just looking all nasty. Explained in the previous video, we've gone for AN12 fittings, which are probably quite large for what we're doing there. However, we had a surplus of AN12 fittings left over from the dry sump system, so we're just going to use those. AN10 would probably do the trick on this. AN10 is actually too small on the March, and we've got some heat soaking issues and all that sort of carry on after time. So the March would have been good at 12 and the Gloria good at 10. I mean, given the circumstances, I could have almost swapped all the fittings around and probably got away with it, but I don't really want to get on with things that I don't have to unless we run out of time. I run out of things later on. So this is what's inside that manifold underneath the intercooler, right? So there's your trumpets for each cylinder and all that sort of carry on. And you'll see there's two holes, one hole and one frost plug, right? So the original install of these from Stillen, they use the original factory injectors, I think, down here, and then they put another rail with smaller injectors in here, and those injectors are controlled by a standalone ECU a piggyback ECU of some description that runs off the factory computer, adds the extra fuel that they need. So that's the way they get around with using the factory computer and putting a supercharger on it and still having enough fuel, etc. So these frost plugs are just a press fit, right? So that's probably okay. They probably won't fall out. The Stillen didn't design it to be like that. Like I say, they had notifications from Facebook. they had injectors in there. So this is someone's done this as an aftermarket. This is later on. This is our way around it. You know, we'll put frost plugs in there. It might work. It probably will. I'm just a bit nervous about it. I'm a bit concerned that a bit of heat on the manifold and it expands and you lose your tension on your frost plugs. Like I said on Facebook Live, if it pops out, like if the pressure blows it out, not so bad. Engine will run poorly and all that sort of carry on. Probably, you know, you might be halfway across an intersection and does that. Wouldn't be ideal, but you'd get away with it, I guess. If it pops in, falls down there, everyone knows what that's going to happen there. Really bad things. It'll like jam in between the inlet valve and the seat and hold the valve open. The piston will come up. Hey, party time. And that'll be the end of the engine. So I'm going to take that off today. And I'm going to either make up some bungs to go in there, aluminium bungs, and then weld them in place. Or I'm just going to weld over the whole thing and do away with that. So that's my plan right now. You'll have to excuse I've just pulled the injector rails off out of the way to get that top section off, and we'll cover that up. We'll put it all back together and then we'll put the rails back where they should be. I wouldn't leave them lying around like that for too long, but it's fine. It's not going to damage anything. So eventually when we get all that done, we're really starting to get to the point where we can actually figure out where we're going to put some brackets to hold some hoses and stuff, put some marks and all that sort of stuff where we might want nuts welded on and all that sort of carry on. And we can take this donkey out of the hole and then I can finish off. There's a whole seam along here. This is not actually welded there. That's just sitting there. There's a whole seam that needs welding up. There's a couple of pieces that need to go in here. All sorts of things. So we can do all that. We will have time, I think. That will happen before we're finished with our lockdown. Right, let's get on with it. Right, so I yanked everything out of there, put the paper sheet over the top of it to keep the dust out, put the bonnet on there, because we might want to use the lathe that's all covered up there anyway. These have got a funny little seal on them in between manifold and head, so they just come out like that. They're pretty easy. This one wants to go back in. Anyway, so I yanked those off so we don't burn those up when we're doing any welding. And I've just popped one of those frost plugs out, and I think my concerns were well founded, and this is it's quite convenient. So I've popped that one in there. It's just on top of that frost plug, and it doesn't take much to pop them out. Like, I barely hit that. It's on the ground now. I don't care. We don't need it. It's not going back in there. I can assure you of that. I would say I can probably give that a whack with my hand without the hammer. Oh, I'm wrong. That one's a bit tighter than I thought. But really, it didn't take much. Like, I was going to use something an alternative to my hammer, but I'm not going to. And normally it would hold a punch. You wouldn't do this, but I'm doing this one-handed because I'm holding the phone, right? So you can hear that's loose already. It's gone. There's really, with a bit of heat on that, I'd be surprised if they actually stayed in there. It would be potential for a disaster. So anyway, as I said, I'm going to make something that's a bit nicer than that. Whether it's pick up my stuff off the floor. You wouldn't do these things single-handed normally. I'll either make a bung that goes in there and then weld in, have it chamfered on the edge so that we can do a nice weld and then grind it off, polish it, or even if I do a good enough job, just leave it. Either way, they've got to go. I'm not happy with that. I just would put the shits up for me sending that out the door, knowing that it doesn't take a hell of a lot to pop those out, and maybe with time they might corrode in there and be tighter, but crikey, if they fell out, it'd be a disaster. I better take the air intake temp sensor out of there before I break the end of that off. Yep, so I made a start on that. Some of them pressed in there, as you can see. I use the term pressed lightly. I've been hit with the bangy stick there. I haven't got too carried away about the length, as long as it's the perfect diameter. Length doesn't matter, disappears inside the hole. So a couple of them are a little bit longer and a couple little bit shorter. So they're not too much different to the frost plugs that were in there, except they're aluminium. So I can put this in here like that. Again with this one-handed cameraman stuff. And then just... Now that's actually not ever going to come out. That one in particular. That's a lot more effort to get that in than the other ones, the frost plugs. However, seeing as I went to the effort of making them from aluminium and said I was going to weld those, they're going to at least get a tack weld. Just to make sure, you know. So what we could do at this point in time is you can drill a small hole just here on the edge of it, drill down a little bit just to make sure you've got something to really sink the weld into, and just give it a zip zip and then polish it off. It's really hard looking through a camera and trying to follow your finger. So yeah, I'll do that. 6 of them are in there. The other 2, the piece of cake. Oh look, why not? We'll see if we can stuff one up on camera, eh? So that's in there like that. Done. This will be the one that pings out, fires across the workshop, smashes a pane of glass, and everyone cracks up laughing. Or not. That's that. Like I say, they're a heck of a lot tighter in there than the frost plugs were, so that'd be fine. But I'm going to weld those. I'll show you that when I've done that. I'll take the seal out of here so we don't stuff that out. That could be your downfall. Taking that out might damage that, and then we're never going to get another one of those anytime soon. Decided on welding all the way around those bungs, buttons, plugs, whatever we want to call them. That's going to need a little bit of a tidy up to keep things aesthetically pleasing. It's not too bad. Certainly not the best welding in the world. I wouldn't call myself a super guru or anything like that. It'll do. Might be a bit of a hollow in that one that needs filling. So I'll just attack that. Yeah, I guess it might fit in my milling machine. If I take the drill chuck out of there and clean up my bloody mess again, be able to put that in there, probably just do one side. So just do a pass along the top of all those, tidy it up, swap it around in there and clamp down the other side and run a pass along that side. Should be good. Do that after lunch. Way past lunchtime. Way past. I'm getting hungry. Come back shortly. More work to do. Got that all mounted up in there. Pretty sure this is going to work out all right. Might be a big mistake and it might make it look worse. But plenty of time to sort that out if it goes bad. So, pretty large tool in there. Bit of lube on the surfaces, just CRC for cutting compound today, cutting fluid. And I'll just give that a very light skim across the top of those just to pretty up the welds, and hopefully, unless they're a little bit porous or whatever, hopefully you'd never know there was ever a bung there to start with. Let's find out. So there we are. So I did mill those on the milling machine, obviously. I didn't give up on that. Oh, it zoomed. Oh, it zoomed back. I wish I knew why it was doing that. Never mind. Wasn't entirely 100% happy with the result, but it's not bad. I gave them a little buff with the flappy disc on the angle grinder, just to make it a little bit more like the original sort of surface, that cast surface. So it's all pretty rough anyway, so it doesn't have to be like a mirror polished finish or anything like that. So I think that's probably pretty good. Yeah, it depends on the customer and what he wants to do later on. This might be coming apart and being powder coated again later on anyway, coming apart again and being powder coated. So I think that's pretty good. I'm not dissatisfied with what I've done, you know. And yeah, I can put this back on now, this big shiny piece. Put that gasket back in there, which was quite tricky to get out of there. So I'll get that back in. That's still in one piece, fortunately. And smash that back together, back on top of the motor. By the time I've done that, what are we looking at now? It's 3 o'clock, so that'll do. Won't do too much more than that. Put that back together, bolt it onto the motor, done. Right, I'll show you that when it's done anyway. Okay, so there it is, all bolted back up, and fuel rails back on, and all that sort of carry on. Actually, it will come out pretty good. Don't have to worry too much about what we just did with those bungs, because they end up underneath the fuel hose, so you can't even see it anyway. So as long as it's a reasonable sort of finish on there, I think that's perfectly satisfactory. There's one that's kind of out in the breeze a little bit here, and that's that front one, but it looks fine. I think it's 100% in my opinion. So I just grabbed one of the hoses that was already made up off the bench there, off the shelf, or whatever you want to call it, and smashed that in there just as a general sort of idea. It'll probably go there somewhere. Not sure about with the fuel pressure regulator there. It's all getting a bit cluttered and a bit yucky. I want to keep it tidier and nicer than that. So I don't know. I might have to look at some other options. There's a couple of 120-degree fittings there. 180 rather. In fact, there it is on the end of that exact same hose. So if I took that from there, it'll come up, it'll come down behind here, and it might give us a lower profile and a tidier look. So I might look at that. I don't think that one's a speed flow fitting. I think that might be Aeroflow or something else. It's only the intercooler cooling system anyway. It's not oil fitting. It's not water fitting. So yeah. All right, well, that's us for Saturday anyway. That's actually probably too much work I've done today. It's 10 to 4, so I'll get this loaded up, smash it up on YouTube for you. Like, share, subscribe, and tomorrow's Sunday. I will do a little bit for you on Sunday. Some of you are going to go stir crazy, so am I, but I'll do a little bit for you. We'll see where we end up. We've got, those are our second handy bits, apart from the one I just showed you in the car. These are our brand new bits. Hopefully I got it right. Hopefully there's enough to finish that system, test it, mount the radiator on the front, see where we're at, and move on to the next thing. All right, cheers, bye.